right. Well, first of all, it's great to see everybody. This is my first press conference that I've ever had in a locker room before. I was talking to a few of you before we got started, and you were asking what the old locker room looked like. So you can't truly appreciate it without just seeing the progress that we've made. But, you know, today is a big day. It's a big day for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the first day of fall camp. I was telling the team earlier this morning, you know, this is my 19th fall camp, going into 4 as a player and now the 15th as a college coach. And it's always an exciting time every year, but this one is just even a little bit more special because of today and the opportunity for our players to be able to see their new locker room and the things that are going on. And you know, it was one of the questions earlier was, you know, what was my favorite part of this entire process? And I would say, you know, it was the 10 seconds of when they opened the doors, of seeing our players run in here and just seeing their excitement. And, you know, it really reminded me of something that Michael Kelly has been talking about for the last year, you know, dealing with all the challenges and everything with the COVID year there in 2020. You know, a big challenge he had for all of our coaches and athletic staff is, you know, I want to see our athletic department and our teams really charging, you know, out of this 2020 into what's in front of us. And he kind of mentioned that this morning to our players about seeing that bull kind of charging out of 2020 and into a strong 2021 and beyond, and kind of seeing us run through those doors this morning, you know, just really reminded me of that. And, you know, before I get to some of the team comments, I do want to just take a minute and thank our administration for all of their work. I mean, this has been an incredible project, and the timeline that this got done is absolutely incredible. And I mean, there are many people that spent, you know, many hours, 24/7 weekends and all that to get this accomplished. You know, starting off with Michael Kelly and just his support of this project and his approval and really all of his energy going to making this a first-class project. Barry Clements, one of our deputy athletic directors, who's in charge of all of our facility projects. I mean, he just did an awesome job. Every morning he's walking down for the last couple of months and giving me exactly where we are, what we're doing, the timeline, when the stuff is getting here. And he and his staff, Joey Mitchell, and his staff have done an excellent job. Albert Boone, our director of football operations. Albert wears a lot of hats, and Albert was great in kind of being a person communicating with a lot of people. Lalo Prada, who's the head of our Bulls Club, the Bulls Club and their staff did an awesome job. You know, I really want to thank over 500 donors, you know, were a part of this project. And this project is one of several projects that we're doing. We have a $25 million you know, campaign that's going on that's including, you know, about $3 million here in building this new locker room and some of the renovations in our team room and coaches' offices and meeting rooms upstairs, you know, to go along with the indoor performance center that we're expecting to break ground here later this fall. But we had over 500 donors that were a part of this right here, and every person's donation counted. I saw some people on social media giving $25, and it probably, you know, bought one of those little U's right there on the locker. But man, this is a huge next step for our program. And you know, this year we're really excited to be celebrating our 25th year of college football here at South Florida. And I'm going to get an opportunity to meet with our players later tonight and kind of, you know, a little bit of our program installation. And I got a great video that I can't wait to show them. It's showing that first year, you know, all the way back in 1995 when they started, in the Ponderosa, you know, where the meeting rooms and coaches' offices were, you know, out there in the trailers, to 2004 being able to move over here to the Leroy Selman Athletic Center, and how big of a move that was. And then, you know, today what we're doing as we move forward, you know, this is really just our next step in the journey. And I know as a team and as a program, you know, we're not where we want to be, but I have a lot of confidence that we're heading that direction very quickly. There's just a you know, and it's not just about this locker room or the new building improvements. There's a very genuine, positive energy that's going through our athletic department, through our football team right now. it's very encouraging to myself and our staff, and I think our players are a big part of that. Getting here last year, my number one priority and the number one priority of our coaching staff was really to change the culture. And hopefully when you walked in, the very first quote that you see in our locker room is Bill Walsh's quote, where he says, "The culture precedes positive results. It doesn't get tacked on as an afterthought on your way to the victory stand. Champions behave like champions before they're champions. They have a winning standard of performance before they win." And I think that quote really sums up where we are as a football team and where we are as a football program. I think over my 18 months that I've been here, have been a lot of challenges, but the thing that I can definitely hang my hat on right now is the change in figuratively, I guess, and physically, I guess, the change in our locker room, our team. The culture is completely different than whenever we showed up a year and a half ago. And so I give a lot of our leaders credit for that. We still have a lot of work to do. Developing the right culture, a winning culture, is something that never ends. It's a process that you have to continue each and every day. But I know that we've made a lot of progress in that area. Our players are just finishing a very challenging 8 weeks of summer workouts. It's been, we had a goal in January. We set a goal of we wanted to reach 500 bull pounds. And so what bull pounds are for us, it's positive pounds. And so for the players that needed to gain weight, we set a goal weight for them. And every pound that they gained from January until today, that was a positive pound that goes towards our ultimate goal of 500 bull pounds. For the guys that needed to lose weight, every pound that they lost, that goes into the counts towards that 500 bull pounds. And so we had our big weigh-in today in the locker room after they got to see the locker room and find their lockers. And we hit 525 bull pounds today. So, that work from January until now, it really says a lot about the physical condition of our players as we enter fall camp. A.J. Artis, our head strength coach, him and his staff have done a fantastic job with our guys this summer. And I feel very confident that we're going to see progress from our team this year. How much progress, what exactly that looks like, that's really up to our team to decide by the work ethic and commitment they're willing to make. A couple roster updates. Quarterback Brendan Sear and transfer defensive lineman Xavier Yarborough have left the team due to some personal obligations that they have back home. So they will not be with us, and we wish them the very best during this time. We have 117 players reporting for camp. And, we still have summer classes going on. We're reporting 2 days earlier than most programs because we play on Thursday night on September the 2nd as opposed to Saturday. So we still have a lot of academic requirements that our guys have kind of from 12 to 6 here for the next 3 or 4 days. So because of that, our schedule's a little bit different. Like I said, our players will come back tonight for some program installation meetings. Tomorrow morning, our players will come in, they'll get a lift, they'll meet with their position coaches for the first time because those are some of the things we're not allowed to do in the summer. And then we're going to go out for a walkthrough tomorrow since we're not going to have everybody. We'll come back and meet in the evening, and then our first official practice will be Thursday morning. And, we get 25 practices as a part of fall camp. So you think about, how much work we got in during spring practice, and I was really pleased with the improvement I saw from our team in 15 spring practices, and we get 25 here before we kick it off September the 2nd. So, I really am excited. I believe our players, our staff are very eager and ready to get to work this week. And, kind of one of our mottos, we have several kind of mottos and slogans. You'll see our guys wearing shirts or different hashtags and stuff on social media. But one of our mottos for this year is, "It's time to eat." And kind of how I explain that is, my wife is a really good cook, and little 5-year-old daughter, Savannah, she loves to set the table. So about 5 minutes before it's time to eat dinner, my wife, Sarah, looked at Savannah and say, "Savannah, do you want to set the table?" She'll go run out and put the placemats and the napkin, the fork, spoon, knife, all that, and the cup, put ice in it, the whole deal. And then, about 5 minutes later, Sarah will tell me, "All right, it's time to eat." All right, and I put my phone down, get up and go eat, and it's really good. So kind of what I told our players, hey, last year we're setting the table, right? There's a lot of things going on, new coaches getting here, a lot of challenges and all that. We're setting the table. Now it's time to eat. And then, kind of using that as, hey, we got some big time challenges on our schedule, which are also great opportunities for us. And, the E in eat is for embrace it, right, man? Embrace these challenges and opportunities we have ahead of us. The A is for attack it, right? We have to take action. We cannot just stand idly by and think that we're going to make progress. And then finally, the T is for together, right? We got to do it together. So embrace it, attack it together. That's kind of what our mindset is as we go into fall camp and go into this season. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Coach, with the metamorphosis of the entire program, does it feel like a rebirth of the football program now?
Yeah, and I don't know that I would use the word rebirth. I would just say it's the next chapter, right? There's been a lot of great things accomplished, again, as we kind of look back at the 25 years of our program and see the progression from the very beginning, to where we are now. There's been a lot of progression, but, what I've kind of challenged our players, and part of my message talking to them tonight is, hey, it's our turn now, right? And, we have the pen, right? And there's still more chapters, you look at the University of Florida, Florida State University, like these are programs that have played over 100 years of college football. Right, we're going into our 25th year, and so for me, it's the next chapter, and I really believe that how we do and how we embrace these next 2 to 5 years are probably going to have a very big impact on what the next 25 years of this program looks like, and that's really what our focus is.
Coach, does it feel like USF has entered the arms race with something like this, and now what's supposed to be coming ahead, hopefully?
Yeah, I think we're definitely modernizing our athletic facilities. And again, each step has been great. I wasn't here in 2004 when they opened up this building, but I'm sure there was a lot of excitement. And I think, we had using different locker rooms at the physical education and all these different places. And so this is kind of the next chapter for us. There's no doubt that, we have some work to do with the facilities. Absolutely, but we have a great plan, and that's what I'm excited about. I think our players are really, excited how quickly this got done, and I think that, again, that goes back to my opening comments with Michael Kelly and even President Corral, during his year and a half that I had with him. He was very supportive of this. He pushed for this, and there's a lot of meetings that have to take place from the president's office over here. There's a reason that there haven't been a lot of facilities built, in the last 15 years. It's hard. It doesn't just happen on its own. It takes an alignment and leadership. And so for the university and for the athletic department, everybody, Barry Clements, everybody to kind of be on the same page of what we want to do. I think this is going to be the first of many improvements and new facilities and things we're going to see here over the next 5 and 10 years. And I think we'll remember this day as kind of getting that new locker room, and then we're going to look at everything that's going to come after that. And I definitely think that's going to position us. You go from maybe a negative where maybe you don't have some of the things that some of the other people have, but then all of a sudden when you build it, you have the newest one and the nicest one. And then that kind of turns into your momentum of your program. And so I'm very confident with the way that we're set up and how the new facilities are going to help us kind of with the momentum moving forward.
I thought if I heard you correctly, you said the IPF hopefully breaking ground in the fall. Is there anything like holding it up? Like where is the hope still to be able to be practicing in it next August?
Yeah, the plan is continuing to be moved forward through the different channels. I could sit here and list a lot of different things that are going on, that are just out of our control when you're ordering materials and those type of things. But I'm very optimistic that we're going to break ground this fall, and we got to let board meetings and all those things happen in the right order before we make formal announcements. But I wouldn't tell you that I'm not optimistic if I didn't believe that.
Coach, there's an old saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Just surviving 2020, team has to be strong, right?
I was actually having a conversation with somebody a little while ago. I said, I felt like last year I was kind of managing a little bit, where now I feel like going to this fall camp, we get a chance to coach, right? And just, there's definitely a lot of challenges. Everybody was facing those challenges. It wasn't unique just to our staff and our team, but it is unique in the fact that we had a first-year staff coming together during that time. And it's something that's not fun going through everything that maybe we went through on the field, off the field, but it's something after you do it, you realize, it's a necessary step to get to where we want to go. I believe that we've probably made 2 years worth of progress just within our own team dynamics and our culture and all that, because there were a lot of tough issues that were kind of forced into that, into our team room, if you will, and just going through. You learn a lot about the people you're with when you go through adversity, and we obviously had a lot of adversity, probably more than most last year.
Jeff, you talked about last year being a setting the table year. What kind of from your roster and what you see gives you confidence that you guys can start chowing down this year?
Yeah, I think it starts with kind of what I talked about first, just the culture change. I think as a coach, that's where it starts. And then once you get the culture going in the right direction, then you're really able, then all of a sudden, you're not the only one speaking up and trying to coach and correct. You got leaders like these guys you are getting ready to talk to, that are speaking up, and the team starts taking ownership of themselves, and just, that dynamic. I would say I met with the Bull Council, which is 12 of our leaders. They came over to my house last week. It's the first time in 18 months I've been able to do something like that, and man, just to sit around in the living room and visit with them and ask them questions and hear their confidence in the changes that have taken place within our team. That's probably what gives me the most confidence. Then the next thing I would say is, having a spring practice, having a year to develop our players. I mean, last year the fall was kind of like a spring. I mean, you're really going through your playbook for the first time, and you can have meetings on Zoom, but until you actually go out, practice it, go in the meeting room, go out and correct it. I mean, that's really what it takes. So I think that, and we're definitely going to make progress. Are we a finished product? Absolutely not. And I knew whenever I accepted the job that it was going to be a big challenge, but also a great opportunity. And I'm optimistic that our fans and everybody associated will be able to see progress, and exactly what that looks like, I don't know yet. There's a lot of variables to play into that.
Coach, in your former job, when they had the coaching change, it didn't just happen. It didn't go to 13-1 or anything like that. How much of that can you take from knowing that building block process that happened there?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Obviously, being there at 12 years, being around a dynamic leader like Coach Sweeney. But I was telling the story again last night or yesterday at our fundraiser golf tournament. But literally, when Coach Sweeney took over, I think ESPN ran across the ticker 0 in midseason, October 13th, 2008. 0 of the last 29 midseason interim head coaches have ever gone on to be named full-time head coach. I mean, that's literally where it started. And just, Clemson, had not had the success that, everybody felt that they should have. And, what it took the locker room, getting the leaders involved, getting the players to buy in, getting the players to believe. It took facilities. I mean, that was a big thing. Coach Sweeney came around because Clemson's a very unique place and had a lot of tradition in the past, and a lot of the things when Coach Sweeney took over were very similar to how they were 10, 15, 20 years beforehand. And Coach Sweeney came in and started meeting with the right people, and first thing we got the indoor facility, and then the new facility, and everything works together. It's not like you win and then they go build great facilities, or you build a great facility and then you win. Like, everything has to happen congruently and together. And so I think just getting the players to believe and buy in, and then seeing those incremental wins, the success that follows. And it was after our second year. We actually lost to South Florida in Charlotte in the bowl game. And a lot of the Clemson fans were kind of done with the Coach Sweeney experiment and all that. And he told the media that day in Charlotte after losing to South Florida in the bowl game, he said he feels like the foundation was there, the culture's there. He said, it was 2010, he said, I firmly believe this next decade is going to be the best decade in the history of Clemson football. And I think most people laughed, and in reality, he was exactly right. We won 10 games the next year, and that was the first year to win 10 games in like over 20 years. And now they've won it, 11 or 12 years in a row. So my experience there, obviously, there's some differences, but I would just say from really trying to breathe life into a program that has been there, has a lot of potential, and just bring some new leadership, energy, excitement. And then also what happened is, the president, the athletic director, Jim Clements came as the president, Dan Radakovich came in as the AD, the board of trustees. There just became a great alignment, and they could get more done, you know, in 1 year than maybe the previous groups could get done in 10 or 15 years. And I'm feeling that right now within our leadership here at the university and with the board, and that gives me a lot of optimism for where we're headed.
Moving towards and talking about roster and where you guys in camp, the one position that I probably heard the most questions about from fans this year is defensive end and your pass rush. And you mentioned today you guys have lost Xavier Yarborough, but you bring in Keon Terrell, you bring in, you know, some other guys, you bring in Jamari Stewart. How confident are you with, you know, the improvements that unit between your outside linebackers and your defensive end and defensive tackles that you've had on the roster for a while can take?
Yeah, I think we're going to be better. I think if you talk to probably 90% of coaches out there, if they're being honest, they're not real. they're not satisfied with where their defensive line is, and that's just the hardest position to find. That and quarterback. Defensive line and quarterback are the two most difficult positions. I do feel like that group has really improved. I mean, some of those guys are the guys that have really added some good weight, and you know, Tramel Logan's a guy that we really needed to come on. He's gotten bigger and stronger. He had an outstanding summer. Jamari Stewart is another talented transfer that's come in that's done well. And Darian Grant is another guy that's really had an outstanding summer. So I think we're going to see some improvement there. And again, last year too, there was a lot of guys that were out at different times. And I think also with the COVID, guys that were out for a couple weeks, the hardest positions to come back are the linemen, right? The OL and DL. I mean, they literally spend all summer getting their bodies in shape, and then, you know, you send them to their apartment for 3 or 4 weeks. You can't wait to get them back. As soon as they get back, you kind of put them out there, and it's just never the same. And so I think that's I feel a lot better about, you know, our defensive line having the whole off season to train. They're in better shape. But is that a position that we got to continue to recruit and improve? Absolutely. And we're in a long line of people wanting to do that. But I definitely, you know, Keon Terrell's a freshman you brought up that we're really excited about. Just got here. I haven't been on the field with him to be able to see anything yet. But there's some young guys in there that give me a lot of hope here for this season and the future.
If there's one, to follow up on that, if there's one position, maybe excluding quarterback, that really, really needed that full offseason that didn't get it last year, what would you say it would be?
Yeah, I would say defensive line and linebacker, probably with the two positions that we needed the most. Just consistency and growth in the weight room, and just being here every day, putting the work in. And you know, I think we definitely made some progress. And how much, you know, we'll find out here pretty soon.
Coach, conference realignment, what are your thoughts and where do you guys fit in with that?
Yeah, all right. I actually was prepared for that question. That was one of them I was ready for. You know, here's the deal. First of all, no one knows, right? That's the first thing is there's really nobody in charge. You know, I've heard a lot of people talk about this. You know, you think about the NFL, they got a commissioner and they got a players union, and you know, they can all go get in a room and come out and tell us what we're going to do and how they're going to run the NFL. College athletics and football, it's a lot different, right? So there's a lot of dynamics going on. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say this, you know, we're very fortunate here to have Michael Kelly as our athletic director during these times. I mean, his background being at the Atlantic Coast Conference, you know, in a high position there, assistant commissioner for 6 years, being at the college football playoff and all the people that he interacted with. I mean, these are a lot of the decision makers, you know, that are going to be kind of forming whatever's getting ready to happen here over the next few years. So having Michael here, I think, is a benefit for us. But really what my message is for our players is, you know, the best thing that we can do to help ourselves is to improve our team, right, and to go win, right? And there's not going to be some decisions that are made next week that's, you know, that's the end all and everybody just moves on. I mean, this is a very fluid time. I really think it's going to be over the next couple of years. And what that looks like, I have no idea. But I do know, right, we talk about control the controllables and what you know, and you know, you could sit here all day and come up, I could give 5 different scenarios that I think could potentially happen, but at the end of the day, none of that matters. And you know, I just want to see our football team be a team on the rise, because with the location, the area that we are, the history that we already have, like if we can hit this at the right time, that's why I'm excited. These facilities, those make statements to decision makers and all that kind of stuff. I really feel like if we can hit this at the right time, then we're going to put ourselves in the best position possible.
How much does conference realignment, whatever happens, how much does it amp up the pressure and the stress to start winning maybe sooner rather than later?
Well, yeah, I don't know if you can add more pressure or whatever you want to say to the winning piece. I mean, as coaches, we won it yesterday type deal. Is it important? Absolutely. But I mean, at the end of the day, some of these decisions aren't going to be based about, you know, one team or one season. I mean, these are very kind of from 10,000 foot view decisions for the long term. And but we definitely need to show progress, and that's definitely important. And that's really the biggest impact that we as a coaching staff or football players, that's the biggest impact we can have on however this realignment goes for South Florida, is improving our brand on TV each and every week.
Kind of in that line, potential playoff expansion, that's something
Yeah.
maybe you can't control the 4 teams that get in.
Yeah.
Is that something you can sell to future players, current players,
Yeah,
if that does happen?
I think that's a great thing, and I think the fact, I know it's just a proposal and there's still a lot of talks. Michael Kelly's actually doing some meetings with our players to get some feedback and get their thoughts, but I mean, I'm very excited about the potential plan there. And, you know, I think the fact that they're taking the top 6 conference champions, that's what they're talking about, that really does a good job of trying to eliminate this whole persona of Power 5, Group of 5. I mean, really, that's kind of what the message that I got. And at the end of the day, your goal is to win. You want to win a conference championship. You want to have a chance to play in the playoff and win a national championship. And so now to know that you have a realistic opportunity playing in the league that we play in to get in, that's a huge deal for our team and for our league. And so I'm very excited about that and very hopeful that'll continue to be pushed forward.
Jeff, the first couple of days of fall camp, what are some of the things you'll be looking for, maybe since you had a lot of new players in during the spring, transfers, maybe that level of retention to carry over?
Yeah, you know, and we have a very defined acclimation plan as far as 2 days in helmets and then so many days in just shoulder pads before you can get into full pads. But really, those first couple of days are exactly what you're talking. It's really about fundamental more than it is scheme. Like, we got all month to kind of worry about the scheme, but you know, the last time that our coaches were on the field with the guys, with a ball and doing fundamental drills was back in April. So you know, we've been out there with them a little bit while they've been doing conditioning drills. And so for us, it's just, you know, making sure these guys, they ran their own practices and all that this summer and did a great job from everything that I heard. That coaches were not allowed to be out there, but still kind of getting back, and it starts with your stance, right, and that first step, and where your eyes are, and how you're using your hands, and so that's really kind of the focus of the first couple of practice, is just getting everybody back into the fundamentals, and then we'll start picking up with the scheme and installing our offense, defense, and special teams.
In addition to expanding the playoff, one of the headlines recently, of course, was NIL. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the opportunities that student athletes now have.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's past time probably for that. We've been talking about that for a good while. I think for our players, a big advantage for them is the community that we're in. I mean, we're being right here in the Bay Area. There's a lot of businesses. There's a lot of opportunity. Probably the best thing that came of it is we were in one of our NIL meetings with our players, and you know, one of our important jobs as coaches, and really all we can do right now, is try to educate our players on what the law is and maybe some opportunities that they could look into. And one of our leaders stood up in that meeting and said, you know, the best way for us all to improve our brand is to win, right? If we win, everybody's brand in here comes up. And so, you know, that's what I'm excited about, is finding ways to incorporate the name, image, likeness, find some opportunities for our players to maybe be able to get compensated for the platform that they have along the way. I think that's important. But also finding a way to keep that within the team mindset and the team culture, you know, and I've just been really impressed hearing our players talk about some of their experiences and some of their ideas and some of their thoughts. We're also very early in it. We're going to know a lot more a year from now than we know right now, and you know, our law could be changing at some point. So there's a lot of different things going into it, but I'm very supportive of that, and we've increased some of our personnel within football, within our graphics and design and those type of things to be able to help support our players during this time. Anything else?
Coach?
All right. Yep.
I'm sorry.
One more. All right, here it is.
One last one,
Yep.
sorry. I know you mentioned COVID before. I didn't know if you would address I stepped away for some of the vaccines. Like, I know you can't give numbers, but how
Yeah.
is he looking in that department and about making sure you can actually go out with a full squad this year?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could stand up here, right, and we could all say, man, COVID, y'all remember that back in 2020. But unfortunately, we're still battling through it. We're definitely in a better position because of the vaccine and the things that we know now. And again, I've said this a lot, but I mean it. We're very fortunate having USF Health right here in our backyard, having access to TGH and just the people in this community, like some of the best doctors and medical professionals are right here in Tampa. So big thing for me and for our medical staff, Steve Walls and Zach Parker, has been to get a lot of those experts in here to talk to our players. We've had a lot of meetings about it, and at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. But I do think it's important as a coach that you give your players as much education on it as possible. I would say back at the beginning of the summer, we were definitely below 50%, and now, I mean, we're getting really, really close to, having everybody vaccinated. I think we're probably somewhere around 80% right now as a team, and I think we're trending in the right direction there. But that's something that's still active and something we still have to watch and work through. But I'm confident our players are definitely making the best decisions for them, and definitely listening and taking all the education that our medical professionals can give to them.